What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to our weekly podcast. We are batting practice. I'm Josh. That's Andrew down there, and Jacob is over there. Shout out to the boys. We're here. We're here. We're back. Not doing any duos this week. We got the whole squad here. Before we jump into what we're talking about tonight, quick shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. I feel like both of our fathers played a pretty integral role in our love of baseball, whether it be playing, watching the Brewers. Mano coached. He was there. He
Yeah,
coached.
he played catch with me. He played catch with me.
Our Jacob and my dad definitely probably played a little more of a role compared to your dad, Andrew, but he was there. He was there. He committed.
Dude,
But
he was first base coach of the A's.
yeah,
Remember when
exactly.
we were on the A's, the Oakland
Yep.
A's.
Yeah.
Shout
Not
out
the
that.
Sacramento
Yeah.
A's. But yeah, shout out all the dads out there. I feel like a lot of dads play a big role in the love of baseball. And we wouldn't be talking about baseball if it weren't for our fathers. So shout out to them and happy Father's Day. Um, Boys, I have a story, but how are we doing? Before I jump into it, how are we doing tonight?
It's late.
It's kind of a late night.
We've been recording all over the place. It's late tonight. It's late tonight, but it's okay because we got a banger. We got some breaking news. We got some SorRare talk. We're hanging in there. We're good.
Absolutely.
Sun's still out though. The sun is still out.
Ha.
Not by me. I was gonna say almost. Probably didn't set that long ago. 9:30, yeah. Probably about 30, 45 minutes
It's
ago.
twilight.
Twilight.
There you go. Twilight.
It's dark outside.
It's dark. It's just dark.
Also, it's cloudy, so
That doesn't help.
yeah. I blame the
Doesn't
clouds. I
help.
blame the clouds.
Otherwise, it
Moon's
would be light out.
exactly. Moon's OP.
Mm. Moon's OP. Well, so I went to the Brewer game on Tuesday, and lo
All
and
your
behold,
stories, a lot of your stories result from going to Brewers games.
no, not only that, there was another giveaway. I actually am not a fan of the Brewers. I just like free stuff. Free stuff. I mean, you have to buy the ticket, right? But I guess my sole purpose in going to the Brewery games is getting all the giveaways. But this was not like a normal giveaway. They're doing this thing this year where they're doing artist t-shirt Tuesday t-shirt days. So
Ooh.
each month, I want to say it is, they're doing a new t-shirt sponsored by a local artist. So we wanted to get there a little early because it's
Sponsored or like
only
designed by a local artist?
designed
Yeah,
by.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sponsored by
That would be kind of crazy. The
a
artist
local
is
law firm.
yeah,
Sponsored
yeah,
by
yeah.
sponsored by Hupy and Abraham, of course. Um, not
Ad.
David Gruber. Ad. Hashtag ad. But it's only 10,000 fans, the first 10,000 fans for these T-shirt Tuesdays. So we wanted to get there a little early to make sure we got a shirt. So we got there early, and when we got there, the who did they play? The Braves were taking batting practice. And we're like, I mean, we're here. Let's go to right field and see what happens and maybe get a ball or something. So we are walking towards right field on the first level. And all of a sudden, I'm with mom, dad, and Haley. And mom is like, "Oh my God, the ball, it's coming, it's coming." And like, I didn't know what she was talking about. And I'm like, what's coming? And all of a sudden, ball smack lands literally like 5 feet away from me and everyone else walking, hits a little railing and just sits there. And I literally walked to it and grabbed the ball.
Hey. Picked it up. Picked it
It
up.
was like the easiest, most stress-free batting practice ball I've ever gotten. It literally like landed at our feet. It went under the second deck, but made it into the
That's a
concourse.
crazy angle. That's a
Isn't that
crazy
insane?
angle.
Yeah, isn't that insane? Like the
That's
perfect angle
yeah.
for a batting practice too. Like the dude followed off a pitch in batting practice.
Yeah.
And it literally landed like 5 feet away from us. And I literally walked over. Nobody else was
Wow.
by us and picked it up.
Dang,
Yeah.
so so
So
you didn't even have to deal with the morality issue of
nope.
giving it to a
Nope.
kid.
Nobody was around. I just picked it up and I was like, all right, this is my ball now. So there you
It
go.
looks like it smacked the railing right on the
Yeah,
logo,
I
huh?
think
Or
I
right on
think it
the
did. Yeah.
or the bat.
Yeah. This the bat the lo it was definitely a used ball. Like this is definitely
Yeah.
one that's been in the batting practice bag for a while. There's definitely some scuffs on it, but yeah, took a little beating. But yeah, in honor of the batting practice podcast, I went to batting practice and actually got a ball.
Bang.
Boom.
It's been a
Yeah,
minute.
it has been. It has been.
Didn't catch it though, so
Didn't catch it. You're right.
No,
We did
nobody's
end
out.
up
Nobody's out.
we ended up in the right field bleachers, and there was not a single home run to right field during batting practice.
Wow. Lefty,
Was there
I mean, you got
Matt
Harris, you
Olson?
got Albies,
I know
Matt Olson?
Olson.
Matt Olson. Really?
I'm gonna be
It's crazy.
honest. I don't think players really take BP anymore because there's one group of hitters that went, and I think it was maybe five or six, and we got there right when the gates opened, and I didn't really recognize anybody, to be honest with you. It's hard to see, obviously, but I didn't really recognize any of the swings. I'm thinking these big stars don't really take BP.
Really? I
don't
need confirmation on this. As someone
No,
who
they go
doesn't live in a
first.
baseball city,
Do you think they
They
go
go first.
first,
They
or
go
do you think
first.
they do some tee work or hit in the cage for a little
they
bit?
go first. They go first.
They have their pick. They have their
Yeah.
pick.
I
They get the
think you'd
best
be
tee times.
I think you'd be surprised. I don't think stars take on-field batting practice every game.
Yeah,
You think if
Maybe not every game.
I would say most games.
this was a Tuesday night, so like, they already played Monday, maybe they took
Hmm.
some Monday and then took Tuesday off, or I don't know how they work, but
Who knows?
yeah,
Who
who
knows?
knows?
Well, that's pretty sick because you got a ball. Everyone
Absolutely.
loves catching a foul ball. I like you can't. Okay. Do you want to expose yourself right now? If there was a kid around, would you have given it to him? You didn't catch it. We already established. Okay. Have we established the rule on the podcast?
I think we've
If
talked
not,
about this
we'll
before.
talk about it again. Where it's like
Hmm.
if there is a foul ball hit to you, or if there is a home run hit to you and you catch it, I think you have every right to keep it.
Hmm.
I think that should be yours. You spent your hard-earned calluses on your hand. You would use your own hands to make that catch. That's your deserved ball. If you drop it, if that thing touches anything else besides your hand, and you don't look for the first kid in the area to give it to, I don't know, man. Lose a little bit of respect for you. But if there was no one to give it to, then can't blame you.
Right.
So that's what I feel like. I feel like that's my limit right there is if there's a kid around and I drop it, I'm giving it to the kid. But if I catch a home run, that's a pretty cool memory. I want that, man. Is that fair to
Yeah.
say as someone who's 28 years old?
Absolutely. I think even game balls are different than batting practice, right? Like even if you don't catch on the fly, a foul ball is still a game ball.
Yeah.
It's a little different. Um, I think if there was a kid converging on the ball as I was also converging on the ball and was close enough that like I felt bad grabbing it, I would have given it to him. But if some kid like saw me grab it from like 50 feet away and was like, "Give me that ball," I don't know that I don't know if I would have done that. Be like, "No, get your own ball, kid."
Oh,
I don't know.
get your own
I
ball.
want to hear some comments on this. I want some
These kids,
interaction with
hey
this.
man, they need to learn that not everything in life is just handed to them, right? They gotta earn it.
As we did when we were kids, for the most
We
part.
never did you ever get tossed a ball from an adult as
I
a
got one.
child?
I got one.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
could
think
tell
I
you
ever did.
exactly who hit it too. It was JJ Hardy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I must have been
All right.
there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Oh,
modification of the rule. You have
Hmm.
to give away the number of balls you were given as a kid. You have to pay it forward
okay.
Oh,
exactly
Oh,
the
okay.
same amount. So you
Okay.
got one ball. So Josh, you don't owe
I'm good.
any kids anything.
I'm good.
I don't think I was given a ball. Maybe I was. I don't know.
I
I know my
think I've
sister has. My sister has.
Yeah.
If
okay.
you're a
You
little
might
girl, you'll get
owe
more.
I would say you might owe in her honor.
That's true.
It's
It's true.
true.
She goes to Cubs games.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true. I've probably had more balls taken away from me than given to me.
Oh, oh.
Maybe I'm owed.
Maybe you are. Maybe you are, right? Well, you know who isn't owed anything because he doesn't give no Fs
Ooh.
and he's on his way from one big city to another. Raphael Devers, boys, the news broke 30 minutes before we started recording. A Passan bomb, a passin bomb.
So I like Basan
I
Bomb.
know. It just
I
sounded
like
better in my
Basamba.
head, even though it's totally not right. Jeff Passan dropped a little. Oh, Raphael Devers, by the way, for Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, and a couple other players to be named later, I believe. See you later, Raphael Devers, off to hit some splash hits in San Francisco. You
Yeah,
love
and
it.
they
Out
they
of
need it.
absolutely nowhere. You know, Devers had his mental struggles with the team in spring training from, I mean, everyone's talked about it when he got moved from third base to DH to first base and he didn't want to do any of that stuff. He liked where he was at. And they said, all right, we'll deal with you. But apparently not. Apparently, behind the works, they were working on this. And now he's off to San Francisco, where he's got, oh, wait a minute. If I'm mistaken, Gold Glover, Matt Chapman at third base.
Right?
He's not going to be playing third base there.
He's
So
just
maybe
gonna
maybe first
DH.
base, yeah, but just DH, hit some splash hits. Andrew, this ties into our stack talk too. But you are
Mm.
a Raphael Devers SorRare card owner. And
Multiple editions.
as I like, it literally popped up on my phone, not from SorRare, but from ESPN, and Devers Fantasy Fallout.
Oh.
How Raphael Devers' trade to the Giants affects the fantasy value of him and his teammates. I didn't read it, but I want to
Mm.
get your initial thoughts. How do you think Raphael Devers is going to affect your SorRare fantasy team?
I mean, as a Willie Adames manager, I did not love him going to the Giants. Milwaukee compared to, hitting in San Fran, that's you'd always want to hit in Milwaukee more. I think probably the same is true at Fenway, considering they have the most ridiculous right field, the shortest right field I think in baseball, and especially in that corner where you can just wrap
Besides
it
Yankee
around.
Stadium.
Yankee Stadium's a little bit shorter, even in the
No, no, no,
corner.
no, no. Fenway's
Not
the
in the
shortest.
corner.
Fenway's
Not
the
in the
shortest in
Yeah,
the
corner.
game.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Not in
yeah.
the corner. It's
But
just
I
a meme.
again, well, again, so he's going to a very hitter-friendly park to the Giants. I don't know, but he gets to play the Rockies occasionally, so maybe that's a win. Uh, but I don't know. Does if this was soccer, if this was uh, the your teammates affect you, but baseball is at times such an individual sport that does it really matter for like if you're hitting? I mean, you do benefit if you get on base. One of the SoRare matrix points is runs. So if everyone around you sucks and no one drives you in, that will limit your upside and most fantasy formats. So yeah, I think the Giants are definitely a better team than the Red Sox. So I don't know. I think it's a positive. Were people online angry if they had him on their roster?
I I mean, it depends on what fantasy platform you're playing, I guess. Us who are so rare based, like you said, it is. Well, it is and it isn't because we're just about to talk about stacks. But individual scores in baseball are more easy to acquire than, say, individual scores in basketball, unless you go off.
Sure.
Um, like you need to help from teammates with assists and stuff like that. You need your team to be playing well in a cohesive unit. Whereas baseball, you can hit 3 home runs, your team can lose 15-3.
True. I know Jordan Poole and Dave might beg to differ
Yeah.
when they just chuck up like 50 shots. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Or
yeah,
you
but I
can
agree. I agree.
like in a traditional head-to-head fantasy, you could have Paul Skeens on your team. He'll win strikeouts, but he will never get in the win category. He will never get
True.
in the win category. That's just it's it's Jacob deGrom circa 2013.
Hmm.
Maybe a little later than that. A little later than that. 2017, 18.
Yeah.
It, but yeah, it's the same thing that they're going through there, and I think that on the offensive side it won't be affected as much. Long story short. So I think he's as a lefty, it's a short porch out there in San Fran, man.
People are gonna be chasing them in canoes.
Yeah. It's easier to hit to right field than it is to hit to left field. That's for sure. In San Francisco.
As long as it's not in that gap, and even if it's in that gap, it's Devers can run for
Yeah.
a little bit. He's not the fastest player in the world, but he's gonna try and run for a triple. He's the type of guy that will hustle it out if he can, as long as he knows it's not a home run. If he starts
Mm.
to pimp a fly ball, Giants fans are going to start to not like him real quick
True. It's
because
kind of
we've
a
seen that
weird
before.
it's a weird trade. Like you said, they have
He's hurt. He's hurt. Chapman's hurt.
Chapman's hurt right now. Yeah, Chapman's hurt right now.
sure. So he'll probably play third base or DH, but Wilmer Flores has been DHing and he's been fantastic for the Giants this year. It's like you don't really want to demote him because he's been good. Um, and Devers has not been playing third base, so is he going to be rusty? Like his defense might be bad, and that could be an issue.
I
So
mean,
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, I don't think he wants to play first base. That was kind of part of the whole thing in Boston. Part
Yeah.
of it was because they told him that he shouldn't be playing defense at all. So fair enough that he didn't want to go play first base after their first baseman got hurt. But at the same time, he also didn't really want to play first base. So it's kind of an interesting trade. But if you could get the player of Raphael Devers' caliber, you kind of just take it and figure it out, right?
I was gonna say, I mean, even I know you guys did your Homer talk last week. Maybe Brewers are a bad example since, Devers the third for the Brewers would be insane and amazing. But imagine, most teams have a really good third baseman, first baseman, not a lot of holes to fill there, probably have a good DH. But at the same time, I think you want as many good players as you can because guys get hurt. Chapman going down, they probably didn't expect that. Maybe God forbid another injury to another key player. You want depth, and I don't know. This is such a good problem to have. It's like, oh, like, do I
Mm-hmm.
play this really good player or do I swap him out for Raphael Devers? Like, that's an amazing problem to have.
Absolutely.
and then they got to compete with the Dodgers too. Look at today. Right
Yeah,
now, they just lost, I think, 9-4, something like that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
very close. Yeah.
They 2-3 the Dodgers took from them. So shout out to the Giants for taking one at Dodger Stadium. That's pretty sick. But they yeah. If you look at this Giants lineup, it's again not to compare it, not to be only homerish, but there's not that big name. You got like a couple of pretty big names on there on the Giants roster. I mean, look at the Verlander, for example. You have Willie Adames, but they don't have that Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. They don't have the star tier to put it in SorRare's perspective. And Raphael Devers has lived up to star tier potential in the past. I don't know if he's up there right now, if he's in tier one category, but that's what the Giants need. That's like, it's exactly what they need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just where is he going to
absolutely.
go? I'm not entirely sure. Their first baseman's listed as Dom Smith right now, who's been a journeyman his entire career.
Yeah.
But he's been playing well. They've had him for a week now, and he's been playing well. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. He's slated to play against the Red Sox in a few days from now because the Giants come up against the Red Sox this weekend. So
That'll be
Oh,
good
exciting.
times, good times. But yeah. Um, so let's bring it all back around then from a fantasy perspective and let's put it into a SoRare perspective. Andrew, you actually happen to be that guy with a Red Sox stack. And we're here to talk about stacks. And it just so happened that we put a little bit of a little tectonic plate shift,
mm.
little earthquake happened there in your Red Sox stack 30 minutes before we were going to record here. So I think this is just a perfect topic to talk about.
Oh,
And I think you're also the most, well, at least I'm not sure, I'm not entirely sure about your team, but I don't use stacks as much as you do, Andrew. So you're more well versed in the stack universe than me when it comes to MLB at least. But how are you feeling about your stack?
dude, I've been on the fence about getting rid of that stack. I've like wavered on that, especially because it's a rare stack, and I think you had a pretty good point earlier when you said like I wasn't winning anything with my rares, and it just was just like not doing anything, but and this is the beauty of stacks. I'll tie it to that. Stacks just kind of give me that blind faith that like one week. the Red Sox might get 50 runs. I don't know. Let's just say 50.
Yeah.
Just to make up some huge number. But
Fifty.
they just absolutely go off everyone in their lineup. And this happens. Like, the team gets up big, the other team uses positional players. It can quickly go from a 9-1 to 18-1, which they did earlier this year. Unfortunately, I think other teams also went off that weekend, so I got a little bit unlucky. But I don't know, like, but losing Devers really hurts the value of that stack. Because and this is true of any stack, you always have to have the best player. If you're running any sort of stack, you need to have the number one player. If you don't, why are you doing that? Because if someone else is, they're going to be using them and they're going to be better than you. I don't know.
Do you,
That's my 2 cents on that portion of stacks.
so let me ask a follow-up question to that then. Do you think the Dodgers apply to that rule? If you don't have
Hmm.
Otani, you can't build a Dodgers stack? I
Not that
could
you
see it.
can't.
I could definitely see you building or not being able to build a Yankees stack without Aaron Judge. That might sound a little crazy to Yankees fans, but I think the Dodgers have enough depth. Look at Freddie is batting over 350 this year or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you could have him, you could have Mookie, you could have Teoscar's been okay this year. He's been a little bit down. But you could have those couple players and you could have a couple of Dodgers pitchers in there. And what's the difference?
You don't have the
Right.
best player.
And that's yeah, there is a key difference. But
There's a good chance if Otani is going off, or if the Dodgers are going off,
that Otani is
Otani is
also going
probably
off, yeah.
also at least doing well.
Mm.
They're doing
Right,
something.
right.
We
Yeah, and
should
like the
go
Dodgers
ahead.
might be the exception in that like they have five superstars, so you can maybe not play one of them and you might be okay. Embarrassingly, like I don't have a Bregman, even for my Red Sox stack. And now I think it's saying it out loud. I'm like, okay, I'm actually going to scrap these guys now that I don't have Devers. But I do think you could build a Dodgers stack without Otani. The thing I would say is that it wouldn't be the best Dodgers stack.
Right.
Yeah.
We should like quickly mention that like when we say stack, we're obviously talking about players on the same team. Are you guys when you're let's say if we are building a stack, are you going everybody? Obviously you can't have all seven be the same team, but you could have a different pitcher, a different reliever, and then are you going all offense the same team? Or are you doing like three or four guys from the same team and then you throw in one random?
Mm. So like a semi stack
Like
versus
a
an
semi
actual true
stack,
stack.
Hmm.
That I
like
have
a half
never
stack.
I've a half stack. I've never committed to a full team stack in SorRare MLB. If ever I'm using a stack, it's like expose me here. Three or four Cubs, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my common team. It's my common team. I picked the Brewers as my favorite team at the beginning of the season, and it gave me a bunch of
Wow.
Cubs because the
Wow.
Dodgers played the Cubs at the beginning of the season. So they had to give you either Dodgers or Cubs players, and I still have those players to this day. Can I complain? No, because I got PCA for free.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but I'm usually in like my all-star lineup, for example. I'm stacking PCA with Kyle Tucker, with Michael Bush, but I'm not using the entire Cubs lineup. It's just part of the lineup that I'm using. And it usually works out if it's going to win a reward, like it usually works out in my favor to where as long as I have those top couple of guys from that team, then I'm good. So it's kind of the same thing if you're using, at least in my opinion, if you're
Hmm.
using a semi stack, you still need to use one of those top guys from that semi stack. Like if you're building a team with three Yankees and four Dodgers, you don't necessarily need, I mean, everyone needs Otani and Judge, but you could go without one of them and be totally fine with that sort of stack technique, I think.
Yeah, I think there's it. It feels like there's a couple different routes you can go with stacks and have it be effective. I think, in my opinion, the most effective way to stack is do mini stacks, like you said. if the Padres are playing the White Sox for a four gamer, I'm gonna want Tatis. I'm gonna want Machado. Um, Jax Merrill just got hurt, but I would want to throw Jax Merrill in there, and not any. I mean, against the White Sox or the Rockies, you probably could get away with a little bit more, but you kind of are putting all your eggs into one basket, and that can either work out extremely well or work out against you. So I think like the mini stacks work out best where you're playing two or three players on the same team, and then potentially having a full stack as like your backup challenger team, where this team's gonna lose 90% of the game weeks, but that one week they go off, I get 12th in challenger and I win a card and I'm happy about it. And I go in knowing that it's probably not gonna win. I think that's a good like kind of backup team where you just set it, forget about it, and the one or two game weeks that that team goes off in the year, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
And that's yeah, I completely agree. And it sounds weird, but I think for a full team stack, you want to do it of a bad team. You don't want to do it of the Dodgers, of the Yankees, because you're always being better off playing an Otani with a Judge than an Otani with sorry Teoscar, even Teoscar Hernandez. Like Judge is just a
Right.
better in the outfield spot. But compared, I got a Brewers collection this year. For me, the Brewers are kind of a perfect all team stack. Like, yeah, like there are some weeks where I'm very tempted to throw Churio in with a really good lineup, like play him with a Machado, with a Tatis that have good matchups, or versus just burying him with Bryce Terang. I love Bryce, but like again,
Hey,
Machado and
April Bryce will
Tatis,
come back eventually. April Bryce will
maybe,
come back
maybe,
eventually.
but like
And June
one.
Churio and April Bryce will combine to make a beautiful July baby.
There we go. So yeah, so maybe at
Podium.
some point the Brewers will click it all together. Like I would throw it honestly any team in that scenario. But what the biggest thing with stacks though is you obviously they can be expensive if you do it of the Dodgers, if you do it of um the Yankees. But choosing a team like the Brewers, maybe or like the Twins, might be a perfect team to do a collection of. And then yeah, run that team every week. Where 95% of the weeks you're going to get nothing, but maybe that one week, my God, maybe they get 50 runs. I'm saying it again. Maybe it happens. I don't know.
And I think it's important to note that it's better for a bad team. And we say bad team, it's kind of anybody but the Dodgers or Yankees. So there are teams that aren't quote unquote bad, but there are teams that have really bad offenses that don't have 50 run game weeks. Not that many teams have ever put up 50 runs in three games. Um,
Yeah, has it ever been
that would
done?
have to,
I
I would
mean,
say that would,
Has it
Yankees
ever
opening
been
weekend?
done?
that's
Yankees opening
approaching.
It's
weekend
pretty
against the
close.
Yeah,
Brewers?
it's approaching probably a record. Um, but there's teams that really don't have that potential, so watch out for teams like that. Most offenses can go off on a three-game stretch. Some teams, the Pittsburgh Pirates, ooh, the Boston Red Sox now probably wouldn't be
Ugh.
building a stack of either of those two teams. There are other teams on top of that, but those are the first two that come to mind. The Pirates offense is atrocious. It's terrible.
Well, let me.
O'Neal Cruz.
So, yeah, hey, my
Yeah,
tier
no,
one reward. My tier
he's
one.
good.
But again, but like O'Neal Cruz again, it may be a player that you'd be better off playing him with a Tatis than with sorry Brian Reynolds. Like that's just facts. I don't know.
Right. So there's, I guess, like long story short here is that we agree that there's only a couple teams that you should be bothering to build stacks with. But let's look at the A's. You could
Mm,
do so easily, maybe no pitcher, but you could do Mason Miller as a
yep.
reliever. You
Sure.
could do Lawrence Butler, you could do Jacob Wilson, you could do Brent Rooker. You get power, you get speed, you get
Hmm.
average, you get all that in there. And then if you really wanted to, you could throw in like
Langoliers.
couple, yeah, a couple
Hmm.
extra players in there. But you could also semi-stack it with another team as
Yeah,
well.
like half and half, where you do
Yeah.
like half A's and then
Mhm.
half whoever you want.
So I think there are definitely teams whose offenses are not stack worthy, but there's also teams out there that you wouldn't necessarily consider being a good team that have good stack potential.
Correct.
Right.
Also, when it comes to stacks, and this applies to every so rare sport, but I think it applies to maybe basketball and baseball the most, the American sports the most. Like, for example, in soccer, if you're stacking Real Madrid, if they're playing Barcelona or if they're playing a second division team in the Copa, like Mbappe's still probably going to score at least one.
for
Hmm.
sure.
But if you got a good offense, but they're coming up against, let's say, Scooble and Casey Mize and maybe Flaherty on a good day
I was gonna
because
say not this game
he's been
week.
very streaky. Yeah.
Not this game
However,
week.
however the Tigers rotation goes, you might not want to play your stack against those Tigers, even though you have a good offense. So
Yep.
another way that I build my stack lineups if I'm going to, because they change on it. My stacks are dynamic. They change on a week to
Mm.
week basis. But if they're coming up against a bad team, like if the Brewers are playing the Rockies in Denver,
Hmm.
I might throw a couple Brewers into my champion lineup. Or I might even stack a champion lineup, or at least like my first tier like challenger lineup. But if it's the Brewers coming up against like the first week, the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, I'm not stacking my Brewers.
Nope.
So another thing that you got to consider when it comes to stacks, especially in baseball, and I think it applies to basketball too, is who they're coming up against.
For sure.
And
I
then
think,
if you're coming up against the bad team like the Pirates, make sure Skeens isn't pitching.
yeah,
You should be
right.
good to go. You should be
Right.
good to go.
If you are going to commit to like a full stack, though, I think you have to be in the mindset that like that is your team.
Mm,
And I
Mm.
get it. Like if you're gonna buy like the top four players on some team's offense, like Andrew's saying, Churio is a good enough player that if the Brewers have a good enough matchup, he could definitely be in a champ lineup and put up 50, 60, 70 points in a game week. Um, so I understand players like that, but at the same time, like if you're gonna build a stack and kind of stick with it. Because if that offense goes off and you had Churio who put up 60 in your champ lineup and Tatis struck out 7 times in that game week, because that's what he's been doing for the past month and a half, and you scored 160 points and got in the
not
40th
today.
percent, not today, then that
Yep.
doesn't do anything for you. But if you would have played Churio in your stack, Yelich also put up 40, Contreras put up 30, Terang had a couple doubles and put up 25, like then that stack would have hit. So like if you're going to build a stack, you should ride with your stack because if you split it up and then that team goes off, that's the whole reason you built the stack and you didn't have it set up. So I get what you're saying, Jacob, but I feel like if you're committing to it, then commit to it.
No, it depends who you're playing. It depends who you're playing. If my
It,
team's coming up against Scooble, I'm not playing that stack. That's a guaranteed day that you're not getting any points.
it's true.
Google's too good. And I
Yep.
do have AL players like, for example, I have Jose Ramirez, who's got like Joe DiMaggio's streak on the line, not actually, but has reached, or at least as of yesterday, I don't know if he reached today, in like
Ooh,
36
that, that
consecutive games, not hit streak, but reached base streak. So, but if he's coming up against his AL Central rival in the Tigers and they're coming up against Scooble, I think I might drop down my Guardian stack. I might still keep it together, but I'll play it in a lower tier lineup than I would maybe my whatever lineup I'm building. It really does, at least for me, it affects who they're coming up against. It's hard to come up
Jacob,
against.
you manifested it. It's over.
It's over. It ended today.
It's over
I
today.
didn't
It's over
I'm
today.
talking about this after the fact that it happened. We're recording this
You just knew.
episode much
You knew.
further after the Guardians episode ended.
Not
Uh,
today. It ended on Friday,
Oh,
I
then on
think.
Friday? Okay, then it was as of Friday. As of
Friday or
Friday.
yesterday. He homered today.
Hey! Off of Scooble? I'm kidding, they're not playing that.
Yeah, I
playing
think
the Tigers.
On Friday he went 0 for 4 and did
Okay,
not
it was fr
replace.
okay. So it was as of Friday, not
Friday.
as of yesterday. But I
Friday.
knew it was as of recent, so I did not manifest anything.
No, I think it was today, Josh.
He
I'm pretty
homered.
sure he homered today.
No, no, June 5th, he's 0 for 4.
It's June
Jay,
June
15th.
15th, buddy.
June 15th.
Andrew,
That's what I
what day
said.
is
That's what I
it?
said.
What day
June
is it?
15th.
Is it June
June 3rd.
15th? Wait.
June 3rd he walked. June 13th he walked. Sorry. I can't speak.
He walked.
It was today.
You're
It
right.
was today,
You're
June
right.
15th.
He homered
So it was
yesterday.
today.
He
It
homered
was
yesterday.
today.
I was looking
Yeah.
at yesterday's game.
Boo.
Ooh. I'm gonna be honest. I was looking at baseball references.
39 consecutive games. It ended today. I was
Insane.
correct. Everyone's wrong except me.
Baseball Reference hasn't updated
Insane.
their game logs for today's games. Like, come on, guys, get on that. It's 9 o'clock on
We didn't know if
Sunday.
the streak ended.
I needed to know, and they let me down.
They're
Baseball
probably too
Reference
busy
let me
watching the
down.
Yankees game.
True. Very true. Um, Anything else you guys have to say about stacks?
Yeah.
Um,
How much do you value a pitcher in a stack?
mm,
Mm. I mean, we talked about it before. I was going to say, like, relief pitcher with the starter is a great combo. You know, any of the Guardians with Class A, even I've done Freddie Peralta, Trevor McGill in a lineup from time to time. That's that's a really good combo. But I will say when I do the full team stack, the one position I do sub out is usually the starter or the reliever. Since I do think if you are going for a full team stack, you need to have all offensive players. That is not one of the positions you
Hmm.
sacrifice. Um, but I do think from a mini stack standpoint, very elite one. If we want to call it a stack, is stacking the pitcher and the
Yeah.
reliever
Little mini
starter.
stack the defense versus stacking the offense. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think if you're gonna take one out, I would opt for the reliever. Because if that offense is going off, which is what you're hoping for in a stack, starting
Right.
pitcher will ideally get the win and ideally pitch well enough to stay in the game for a
N-
while because they're up so much. Your closer or late inning reliever isn't coming into that game if they're up 7 runs. So
Right. No save.
I mean, there are game weeks where an offense goes off and the games stay close and that reliever might. But I feel like if you're playing the odds, that reliever is probably not coming in if they're up enough. So I would probably switch out a reliever and keep your starter there. That being said, you could do a mini stack starting pitcher, relief pitcher, and then do a different team for your offensive
Mm.
stack. So that's where you get the like little
Mhm.
mini, the 2 and then the 5.
Yeah. I like it. I agree. I think that's what I would do 100%. And that's probably what I do the most, honestly,
Mm.
is
Yeah,
stack a reliever and a starter. That's the way to do it. If you got one
absolutely.
going, like that'll hit. You want them to get the win, you want your reliever to get the save, and it works out. If it works that way, hey, maybe one gets the save, the other one doesn't get the win because the team had to like tie it up and come back or something, but it's still that means it was a good game. And if they have a bad game, you're not going to win much anyways, unless the offense really goes off. And if the offense really goes off, then you didn't need the pitcher to win anything anyways. So I think, yeah, I think stacking the pitcher and the reliever, if you're not concerned about stacking at all, if you want to just build a team, if you want to own your game, build the team that you want to build,
Hey,
at least stack the pitcher and the reliever. I think that's a good idea. And I don't
And
even
I
do
will.
it in all my I don't even do it in all my lineups. It's just it's a way to get a nice little bonus if they both hit.
I
What
will
about you?
say I have noticed, like, for example, if I'm for sure playing Pete Alonso in a lineup and I have the choice of Trey Turner, Mookie, let's say Lindor, all three amazing players, probably around the same if you're using the Sora projections, I will that usually throw Lindor with
Yep.
Pete Alonso. Let's say, but I would say historically, I would have said, who has the highest projection and gone with that, whatever. But I kind of say to myself, if I'm really set on playing Alonso in this lineup, I'm better off playing Lindor than throwing Mookie or Trey Turner in there. Just because, again, with the idea of a stack, maybe the Mets just go completely nuclear on a team and both of those guys go off. And I feel like that's somehow more likely than Alonso and Mookie going off, even though all three are probably very probable at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. Well, Nash, you mentioned today. Well, now you were wrong. Andrew, you mentioned today. Jose Ramirez's historic streak
It's
did
over.
come to an end. But let's throw it back a little bit. Let's throw it back to 1938.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And if you didn't know, today, June 15th, 1938. So this would be, let's quick math it here. Come on, you can do it this time. 80. Oh, this is when our grandparents were born. Easy.
Yeah, Marion.
87 years. I guess this would be 87 years to this date.
Mm-hmm.
Easy, easy year. June 15th, 1938. Speaking of our grandparents who are from New York, the first ever night game was played at Ebbets Field, the home
Ooh.
of the Brooklyn Dodgers, the same field
Nice.
where Jackie Robinson made his debut a few years later. But this game in particular, this historic night game, featured the Brooklyn Dodgers versus the Cincinnati Reds. And the Reds were throwing out pitcher Johnny Vander Meer, who was an average pitcher for pretty much his entire career. However, he was coming off throwing a no-hitter in the previous game. So that's
Wow.
pretty
Insane.
cool, right? That's pretty cool. So what does Johnny Vandermeer go ahead and do for the Reds at Ebbets Field for the first ever night game in New York Giants at the time? New York Giants. For the first time in Brooklyn Dodgers history. But Johnny Vandermeer goes 6 innings. Sorry, let's say that again. Johnny Vandermeer goes 9 innings and throws his second no hitter in a row. The second
Wow.
no hitter in 2 starts. So not only was it at the first ever night game there in New York, but he managed to do something that no other pitcher in MLB history has ever done before. And still to this day, it's never happened in back-to-back starts. No pitcher has
Wow.
ever thrown back-to-back no-hitters. So it just so happened that it was against the Brooklyn Dodgers on this historic night. And I know it was a pretty big thing in Chicago when Wrigley got the lights installed and when the first night game was ever played at Wrigley. And it's still talked about because Wrigley's still around, but it's not talked about as much because Ebbets Field was demolished a long, long time ago. Dodgers don't even exist in Brooklyn anymore, but it's something that will live on through history as the first and only pitcher to ever do so. And it was at the first ever night game at Ebbets Field. So how about that? Johnny Vandermeer was coming off of a no-hitter and threw another one. How about that?
Shout
Brewers
out.
could have used that guy. Brewers could have
They,
used that
you'd
guy.
think they
Johnny
still
Vandermeer.
God. Ah.
Johnny Vander. No, we need offense. Our pitching's fine.
In the playoffs last year.
You're right. You're right. All right,
Yeah.
boys. Before we jump into the pickle, it is June 15th as of recording this. We are halfway through June. I have an update on our home run derby
Ooh.
for the month of
Oh,
June.
I think I'm
Our
doing bad.
a halfway mark.
Like a bad.
Your boy is leading the pack. I am at 12 home runs.
Whoa,
Wow.
12. That's a lot.
Wow.
12.
Wait, I
Aaron
think
Aaron Judge has
Aaron Judge.
5. Ramirez has 3 and Cal Raleigh has 4.
oh, big dumper
Yeah,
go poo
big
poo.
dumper.
Oh,
I will note this is updated as of yesterday. This is not including today's games.
insane though.
Andrew, you are
I know
sitting
Corbin didn't
in
homer.
in second place. Otani has 3, Schwarber has 3, and Rooker has 2.
Okay.
Jacob, you are in
Mhm.
third place.
Yeah, I
Cor-
picked third.
uh,
Makes sense.
Carroll has 4, Wood has
Wow.
1, and Neto has 1. So those
I thought
because
my underdog pick with Zach Neto could do it, man, but
those
he's
those
kind of cooled off
underdogs,
since he came
yeah,
back.
they need to pick it up a little bit. I will say, I'm at 12. Andrew, you're at 8. Jacob, you're at 6.
8.
So it's close. It's close. There's a lot of games left. It's looking better for you boys for the tiebreaker because Willie Abreu is 0, and I think he's hurt.
He
Javi
is.
Baez has 1, and Taylor Ward has 2
I
to
know
Jacob.
I could have picked
Oh,
Taylor Ward instead of Zach
You're winning the tiebreaker, so
My
if you can
Angels,
catch back
man.
up, if you
My
can catch back
Angels.
up,
Could have picked Mike Trout.
coulda.
I don't know. I feel like I'm
Coulda.
stuck in last here. I feel like I'm stuck in last.
You never
Corbin,
know.
though. I was right about Corbin, and I'm happy
Carol
about that.
Corbin's great.
James Wood
Carol
needs to pick it up.
Corbin. Carol Corbin himself, the man. Corbin home runs all day long.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
gonna catch up. Just you wait. I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna
If you
muster.
do,
Here's a
if you
question
do.
for you before we hop on over to the pickle that was brought up at my work today.
Ooh,
And you can bring it up as we're talking about this. We all have our favorite condiments and stuff, but what's the worst sauce?
first.
Because this man goes, I think syrup is the worst sauce.
Mm.
And I'm like, that's not really fair. I like maple syrup. All the other like processed stuff I'm not the biggest fan of anymore. But he said syrup was the worst sauce, and I was like, I completely disagree with that.
It's kind of a hot take. Um,
I think if I had to answer, it would probably be sour cream. And we can also argue about if it's a sauce or not,
It's.
but
I
it's
don't
the end
think
of the
that's a
episode, so
sauce. I don't think that's a
all
sauce.
right, if you want, okay. How
what
about,
is it then? It is.
yeah, what is it? A
It's a
condiment?
it's a
Condiment.
topping. It's a
A
topping.
topping?
That's a
Yeah.
sauce.
No. Sauce is viscous. I could drink a sauce.
You could drink sour cream if you tried hard enough.
It's not gonna go down the straw. I mean, maybe if you
You
really
could
suck
you
into
could
it.
suck up sour cream in a straw.
Yeah. I don't know.
The answer is buffalo. Buffalo sauce is the worst.
Oh, bad
That's
take.
a
The
bad
city of
answer.
Wait,
Buffalo.
wait,
That's a bad
wait.
answer.
I'm gonna answer again. I retract buffalo and I submit blue cheese.
Okay.
Blue cheese
That's
as a sauce.
Okay.
When you get
Yeah,
wings and you choose between ranch and blue cheese comes out as a sauce, and that
that's
sauce
true.
is awful.
You're right.
I agree.
I think that's gonna get a lot of hot takes, but if you want to hate on blue cheese, go for it. Wait,
I'm
hold
getting
on,
rid
hold
of
on.
cocktail sauce.
Undo this, undo this, undo
Cocktail,
this. Nash,
cocktail,
undo this shit
cocktail,
real quick. Yeah.
cocktail.
I'm getting
Um,
rid of cocktail sauce. You're better off
really?
just drinking a cocktail.
What
I
about
don't know.
horseradish?
Oh, that's awful. Yeah. Yeah, get rid of
I
it.
like both of those. I don't like
Really?
sour cream. If sour cream's
Anything
not
that's
a
made from
sauce,
horses, ugh.
Yeah,
how
true.
about? Do you consider mayo a sauce? I'm not the biggest
Yeah.
mayo fan.
Mayo's a
Yeah.
sauce.
Yeah.
Mayo's gonna catch a stray here because you're saying sour cream isn't a sauce, but sour cream is my answer. If sour cream is not a sauce, then it's mayo.
It's a dip. Or maybe it's a dip.
A dip.
A dip. But I ain't nobody dipping. People dip their chips in sour cream, but that's a
Oh,
sour
yeah.
cream dip, not just plain sour.
Mm.
Maybe it's not. I don't
Mm.
know. I don't know. Nosh,
What?
yeah, go for it.
What's the best sauce?
Ooh.
That's for next week's episode. That's for next week's
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
episode.
Well
okay.
done. Well done.
All right. Cliffhanger. I like it. I feel like this has to be Raphael Devers.
Syrup?
Syrup though, I feel
Syrup
like
is good.
syrup is widely liked.
I had syrup this morning.
I could go a year without syrup. I could go a decade without eating syrup.
What do you have? Okay, if you were to get pancakes, do you not put syrup on them?
I don't need to. I could put some like peanut
You
butter
just
on it.
have plain.
Okay.
No, put some peanut butter on it. I mean, I know I do put syrup on it, but like, I don't need to.
But you could go without it. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
I don't
I
think it's
guess.
bad though. And maple syrup is the best syrup. I agree with that take.
Oh,
Look, he's
updated.
already on the Giants.
Wow,
Updated.
it's like they knew.
What if it's
Lefty
somebody
righty.
on the
Lefty
Red
righty.
Sox? It's
All right,
somebody on
let's
the
try
Red
and get the
Sox.
country right this week so we don't
Yeah, you guys are
expose
struggling.
yeah, that was rough.
Um,
So we got to guess
Trevor
lefty
Story.
righty, a lefty righty. No, a lefty righty.
Hmm.
Lefty
On the
righty
Red
on the
Sox could be
Is
is Marcelo
Crochet a-
Mayer? Marcelo
righty
Mayer?
thrower. Righty thrower.
Does Matt Olson throw right?
Is it?
Yes, Matt Olson throws right.
Yeah.
Trey, yeah,
Oh my God.
really young.
It is the AL East.
It is the AL East.
It could have been. It could have been Boston.
Not from the USA and the Dominican
Ooh.
Republic. Uh-oh.
Ooh,
Ooh, we're getting too obscure. Throws
No.
righty, hits lefty. Let's get a Yank.
I
Jazz
was
is no Jazz is from the U.S., right?
Or is he from like Curacao? Yeah, or Bahamas.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
is. It is
ooh.
28. Oh,
No.
Okay,
darn.
wait. We're speaking of
Not the
syrup. Is
Yankees.
it someone from Toronto?
Ooh. Um, Toronto.
Santander?
I like it. I like that.
Santander. Is a switch
Oh, he's a
hitter?
switch hitter. Duh. He's a switch hitter. He's a switch hitter.
We could just get Blue Jays out of the way.
Yeah,
Springer?
any
No,
Canadians up there? He's a
Springer's
righty. He's a
Stool.
righty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like where is Addison Barger
Orioles.
from the United States?
Larger.
Barger with a G?
I was trying.
Or is he from Canada? Do they feed their
The game
lefties all
broke.
from Canada? The game broke. The game did break.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
did not she
Hello?
break?
Oh no.
Uh, uh,
Refresh, refresh, refresh. There he
what will
is.
happen?
He's from the USA.
There we
Wait,
go.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
should we
Get the Blue Jays
Yeah,
out of the way.
yeah.
And third base. Oh, we've already guessed the third baseman. Well,
okay,
whatever.
That's all right.
it's not the Jays. So we
Okay.
got Orioles
Orioles.
or
Oh.
Rays.
Oh,
Rays.
Rays. Oh, Rays.
Oh.
Caminero,
He's a
bats
righty.
righty. Um,
Oh,
what
we
about
aren't even
like
think it could be a pitcher too.
bats lefty? Yandy
Mm.
Diaz is a
Throws
righty.
righty.
We should get a
Taj
pitcher.
Bradley. Where does Oh, he's from the USA, isn't he? Yeah, that's a bad answer.
How about Braden Shoemake?
Let's do it.
We should get a pitcher
He's
out of the way
probably
for sure, though.
yeah.
Or
AL
Orioles
East.
pitcher.
Aroldis Chapman, no, he throws lefty. He throws lefty. Trying to think relievers.
Does Bautista still
Felix
pitch for them?
Bautista, does he bat lefty for fun?
I mean, it's
Ah,
impossible to
he's from the
even. We
Dominican
should
Republic. Okay, we
Mm.
should narrow the team down at least here. So,
and position or
Is
pitcher.
it No, Mullins is American, right?
Yeah.
Mullins is from the US, but you can say that. Get Orioles, get center fielder. Oh, we should do
Oh, could he be
pitcher,
from
you're right.
Japan? Japan?
Ooh,
They got a
um,
Sugano?
Sugano, yeah. Does he hit lefty? He's 35. He's 35.
35?
Yeah, he's 35.
He's old.
He's
He's old too.
My gosh.
Could be someone from Japan too. Okay, let's get the team.
In the AL East.
Let's get the
Oh,
team.
Weiler Abreu?
That would be funny.
Wait, we haven't guessed the Red Sox?
Wait,
We haven't guessed the
Red
Red
Sox.
Sox. Oh, we did
Marcelo
guess.
Mayer.
We did. Oh my God,
Yeah.
we're throwing. I'm throwing.
Orioles or Blue Jays?
Orioles or Blue Jays. Orioles or
Yep.
Blue Jays. Orioles or Blue Jays.
And did we get
It's
starting
in
pitcher out of the way?
Rios.
Send
Okay,
it.
let's just.
Send it.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if he's Puerto
team.
Rican too.
Okay. Orioles.
Not a
He's an
starter.
Oriole. Okay.
Not
be a
Orioles.
relief
Not
pitcher.
a Orioles reliever. Oh, Cionel Perez. He throws righty. He bats lefty. I'm actually. He might bat. Cionel. Cion.
Cion.
Oh, is he DFA'd?
Oh no. Is that who you won last week when you opened you crafted him? Is that the guy you
Cionel
crafted?
Perez. Oh, he's in AAA.
Oh no.
No.
Orioles. Should we just guess Bautista and see if it's a reliever?
Yeah.
Wait,
Wait, we
Wait.
already guessed a Toronto
Wait.
player. We didn't guess a Ray.
we didn't guess a Ray. It's a
Oh.
Ray.
We already
It's
guessed a
Ray.
Toronto player.
Oh my God.
Wow, we are choking.
It's a Ray.
Oh, where? It's
Is
a
it
Ray?
Jonathan Aranda? Jonathan Aranda?
It's
Oh
Jonathan.
my
It's Jonathan
God. I could have
Aranda.
guessed
Oh.
that 15 guesses ago.
Wow.
He's elite. He's good. He's really
Shout
good. I
out.
like watching
Yes.
him. I like
Shout out.
watching him.
Team Mexico, man. Shout out.
Mhm.
Maybe not. Use him, don't use a Ray stack. For the love of God.
I mean,
Ah,
Caminero,
Aranda,
Aranda,
Caminero.
Diaz.
All right. Do it. Do it.
Diaz hasn't been great.
You
Do it.
You could go with Taj Bradley if you want to do as a pitcher. You could probably go
Can
with Shane Baz.
can you name a
All right.
relief pitcher on the Rays?
Ooh,
Like who's their
Oh,
closer?
oh, Fairbanks. Pete Fairbanks. I got his
Pete
card.
Okay,
Fairbanks.
good shout, good shout, good shout. Rays closer? Question mark.
I think so.
Anyway,
Like he gets saves
is he?
whenever the
Maybe.
Rays save a game.
So not often.
Oh,
Wow. Well, there you have it.
at least they're not the Orioles.
Um, yeah, at least they're not the Orioles exactly. Let us
Wait, but
know. Oh,
it's
go ahead.
open. The AL East is open, guys. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
Rays playoffs. Rays
Is
playoffs.
is it though?
Blue
Or is
Jays
it not
playoffs?
just is it not just the Yankees division?
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
Yankees
Let's
division, but like, hey,
wild
wildcard
card.
spots are.
Yeah. Opening up by the second. Well, there you have it. Let us know if you guys are using stacks at all in SorRare. We kind of do, we kind of don't. Some of us like it more than others, but let us know what stacks are you rolling out in SorRare and is it working for you? We'd love to know.
Mm.
Let us know in the comments down below. Go subscribe to our YouTube and check out our other social medias and leave us a rating wherever you are listening to our podcast. We appreciate all of your support. And until next week, you just attended batting practice. Now you ready to get in the game. Peace.
Peace. Peace.